Come fight fans to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk Authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard ORTIZ.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Production Studios, the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast with my host, the UFC veteran himself, Mr. Cole Escovedo. How we doing, Cole?
What's up, amigo? I've just been running around today.
Have you been?
Yeah, it's been a busy day. I do street team stuff for Clovis Unified for the school I work for.
Okay.
And so we've got like students that we go down our list, like, okay, today was packet day. Between from elementary to our high school kids, because we have a plethora.
And it's also by Cat Food Day.
Dude, yeah, it's gonna be by Cat Food
That's
Day.
a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's been a whole stress in and of itself, dude. I already took her to the vet this morning, and now I'm thinking I don't regret taking her to the vet because it was to eliminate a possibility. So, but I'm thinking
I'm an animal lover too.
I'm thinking I lucked out just watching and figured out what her problem is. Like I think I figured it out.
No, there you are, and we're gonna discuss it with our guest. You know, this whole month has been awesome. All month of May for women. We've been dedicating it to all the women that are involved in MMA, boxing, whether it's PR, announcing, judging, fighting, just their involvement alone, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, just looking at how easy it is to fill a whole month with just a female-based guest line, based on how many of them are actually active and high level and consistent and just doing the industry, like just being there, just like everyone else is.
Exactly.
So it's easy. Like we could probably do 2 months in that span. Easy.
Absolutely, because the talent pool is growing.
Exactly, yeah.
And talking about the talent pool, we're talking about somebody who had their own, and still do. Those of you, make sure you follow this media outlet, Supreme Boxing. I have with us the senior executive, but now the PR in support of the WBC, the World Boxing Council. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest is Nancy Rodriguez. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice, Nancy.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for considering me on the Women's Month?
All month of May for women. All women month of May.
Awesome.
Absolutely. You know why? Because
That's mental health awareness.
Exactly, because Mother's Day during May, and if you're not a mother, you like what did Tupac say? You came from a mother.
Yeah.
And women need to be recognized.
I'm a mother of 4.
Congrats on that. And still going.
What's the age range on? What's the age range on that? What range do your kids range in? Like, what's their age? You said you got 4. What's that range?
Your kids. What are the age, Nancy?
My kids are, they range from 10 to 19. I have a 10-year-old, a 13-year-old, 17-year-old who's supposed to graduate in 2 weeks but isn't going to go through the line. I was just having a talk with her right now for that same reason. She's been having a hard time. And then I have my son who's a sophomore at Cal State Dominguez Hills, where we go to the fights, the StubHub, what is it now, the Dignity Health Center.
Yeah,
the university there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I've got 2 17-year-olds. I understand on the graduation thing. That's a real bummer for them. Like, she spent all this time getting good grades, all this stuff, and now it's like, what do you mean we don't get graduation? Like, we don't get a high school graduation? Get out of here. So that's a pretty big bummer.
That is tough. That is a letdown. But you know what? They got a tough mama.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
No, but you know what? Seriously, as a mother, as a parent, you're a parent too, Richard.
Yes.
We weren't prepared for any of this.
No.
And how to explain it to our children. So I think as parents, we have to kind of support each other and advise each other on how to help our kids through this.
Absolutely. And you know, all we can say is, hey, stay positive, which is in one ear, out the other for a teenager. And their expectations are high because we're talking about prom, we're talking about their senior year of athletics. The best years of high school, but you know what? College is around the corner, and that's all we can do is appreciate what's in store for us and hope for the best in the future. And no parent has the right answer. We could just be there and love and embrace our children.
Definitely.
But you know what? You're embracing your children, as you always do, and yet Supreme Boxing, I mean, I've looked at all your followers, and it continues to grow and grow, and yet you're constantly, while you're on the road and doing big things with the WBC. How do you manage your time, and how do you continue to have them both so positive in everything that you do?
You know, I would lie to you if I said it was easy, because I've always told my kids the day they tell, because my career before the pandemic, my career was very, very fast paced, and you know it. You always saw me running around everywhere. And I told them, the day that you guys tell me stop, I'll stop. But right now, they support me. They want me to keep doing what I'm doing. They enjoy it. They love boxing. They love joining me sometimes. So as long as I have their support, that's all that matters. But I have been able to juggle it. You know, I'm not with their father, but their father helps me when I travel. The kids stay with him, and my older daughter usually helps me with the younger ones. But Supreme Boxing does have a large amount of followers, but really the statistics are way higher. We get about 4 to 5 million views a week of people that go through Supreme just to look at the stuff that's going on in boxing. So that's a huge accomplishment for Hector and I, who started this off of just a small conversation a few years ago. Actually, it launched our first news on Supreme Boxing, ironically, was the day that Don Jose Sulaiman passed away.
Oh, I see.
That was, if you go back to the first post, it's him, which kind of it's a little eerie, because a couple months later, the WBC hired me.
Oh, wow. Well,
you know, to do their PR.
Well, I believe you're truly blessed.
I feel blessed. I do. We can't have it all. We can't have it all, and you know this. You have a beautiful life. You've had your ups and downs, as we all do. But we have to learn balance, and life comes in all colors. It comes in pink, blue, yellow, but sometimes it's black. You know, and we have to learn how to balance everything, our fears and our happiness, the ups and downs. We have to embrace it. It's our responsibility to be happy. This makes me happy. It makes me happy when a 75-year-old boxer walks into my office and asks me for help, and I'm able to help him.
Right.
Man, you have no idea how that makes me feel, that I'm able to help him fill out paperwork so he can pay a gas bill or pay his rent for the month, you know, through different programs that the WBC has, or the California State Athletic Commission.
Right.
Those kind of things, or the amateurs just coming and smiling and being happy that we go support them, that makes me happy. Because the pros, when they're champions, they don't really need us. I mean, they do need us. They need the media. You know, they need all the media. But sometimes they feel they don't. But before they get to that fame, and after that fame is gone, we're still there.
Absolutely.
We're still there to support them, no matter what.
Absolutely. And, you know, you left out one color. When she named some colors, Coach, she left out one color, one very important color. And I'm talking about the okay, yeah, we'll talk about the red jacket, too. And that's a whole different segment. But I'm talking about the WBC green, the green belt, the belt that just stands out. Because you got the WBO, the WBA, and the IBF. But when you wear the WBC green belt, it's like, it just rejuvenates you. It just charges you. It's like that is the belt of all belts.
It's got all those badass legend pictures on it too.
It
really
absolutely
is. It does.
I mean, have you held it?
I had the opportunity I held it in Tachi Palace, and then when Jose Ramirez came from the airport, he said, "Here, Richard, look how heavy it is." And I was just like, "Whoa!" And no one even got a picture of that, but it was cool. I was like, "Wow, this thing is heavy."
Yeah, dude, they make belts pretty heavy. I don't know why.
Oh, they're heavy.
But doesn't it feel amazing?
It does.
I believe in the WBC so much. I believe in every single thing they stand for. Like I said, and I'll go back to it, you know, Don Jose Sulaiman, more than boxing, he was a humanitarian. He did so much for the world. And he left so many of us here to continue doing his work. And I can sit here and tell you a whole bunch of, I'm not going to call them ghost stories, but him coming to our office and telling us to get to work, honestly, after he passed away, because the man continues working through all of us. And I love the WBC. That's why I'm there. And I'm so loyal to them. I've been offered jobs with other people, but the WBC is who I am because of Don Jose Sulaiman and what it stands for. I have so much respect for Paco from the WBO. I've had dinner with him. I have so much respect for Gilberto from the WBA. But I've had the opportunity to personally get to know the family and everything behind how transparent the WBC is with everything. I believe in it. I have to believe in who I work for, Richard. It's like with a fighter. You met me when I worked with Chapulin, right?
Yeah, oh, Daniel Chapulin. Hello, shout out to Daniel Chapulin.
Yeah, I believed in him. I still believe in him. In order for me to PR for a fighter, I truly have to believe in you, because I'm not going to stand there and lie to you and tell you that you're an amazing fighter when I know how dangerous the sport is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I will say, when you were working with Daniel, or whatever relationship you had, I mean, his PR status was, I mean, it was through the roof. It really was. Cole, we're talking about a professional fighter, we'll say 6 fights into his pro career. Okay. Already getting posters, already coming down to the WBC, already sitting ringside next to the who's who, networking, and getting exposed. When a lot of fighters that may be 15-0, 15Ks, they don't get that exposure.
He was getting fast-tracked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they believed in his walk and his ability. And that's a whole different conversation.
Brand, marketability. Like I've seen, you see it happen in UFC all the time. You see guys who are like, how did that guy get that fight? It's like, well, he's a good brand. Like, people will watch. They know who he is. You mentioned that name versus this name. People know who that name is versus this one. That's all it takes. Yeah. Like, it's all about dollars. Like, they'll groom anybody. Like, when they see the potential and the brand. Exactly. Talent's obviously the main component, but when you see, because talent's not rare to come by. Talent's talent. You see that in a lot of people. That's why they get into their sport. Yeah. But when you see that brand ability and that market ability, it's like, dude, I could put him on a poster. I could put him on a commercial. Like, that's it.
And Daniel is he still is very marketable. Daniel, I wish he would have continued, going the path that he was going. You remember, it was all going good for him.
Very good.
But sometimes this sport is, oh man, I love it, but it has its good and its bad. And sometimes people whisper in other people's ears, and I have no idea why he stopped fighting, or if he's still fighting or not, because we haven't kept in touch. I wish him all the best. But Daniel is one of the people that knows. There was people that approached for me to do their PR, and I said no, because I didn't. It's not that them, but I felt that they can do something else with their lives, and I don't want them to get hurt. This sport can kill you, Richard. We've seen it happen just last year. So many fighters that we lost, and I wouldn't want to put anybody in that situation at all. And like Brandon gave me this opportunity. Brandon Rios, Bam Bam Brandon Rios. Yeah. Him and his wife gave me my first opportunity to get into boxing, along with working with Robert Garcia and everybody, learning the ropes. I don't want to be responsible to hype somebody up and then they just, it doesn't work out. Marisela, till this day, I'll tell you, Marisela Cornejo.
Well, she's bad.
She's my friend and everything, and I know that she lost her last fight. Yeah. But you know what? I guarantee you that girl can be a champion.
Oh, I believe so.
And she'll tell you, I'll tell her, you have everything to be a champion. You have the power. I work with Mari, and she's very brandable, and she's very marketable. I believe in her 1,000%. But when she gets in the ring, I've told her, you need to not be nice. You're too nice. You don't want to hurt your opponent, but they're going to hurt you. Yeah. They're going to hurt you. So, now that she's training with Buddy McGirt, I'm so excited to see her future with him, because I honestly feel that she can become middleweight, maybe super welter, middleweight, super middleweight champion if possible.
And you know what? She's very marketable. Cole, you can actually, this fighter she's talking about, she's beautiful, but she'll kick your ass in the ring, and she's very marketable. You can actually see her on TV in some movies, but she chooses the sport of boxing.
Yeah. And she's doing her show now too. She's kind of, I think she's more of a super welterweight, but I think she's going to stay as a middleweight. But Mari has she has everything to be a champion. sometimes fighters just need to believe in themselves, and it takes, and I can't do that for you. You need to do that yourself. All I'm going to do is I'm going to see all your assets, and I'm going to make you shine, and of course I'm going to build you up as much as I can. But when it comes to the ring, I can't go in there and fight for you. I can't go in there and fight for Brandon, Chapulin, Mari. I can't go in to fight for any of my clients. I can build them up, but prove it in the ring to the fans, because the day that you don't prove it, the fans turn on you in a hot second.
Absolutely.
And they'll grill you.
and they will. But I tell you one thing though. Cole, I'm going to tell her something very important. There's something that will back up all the expectation. There's something that will support her word. That's something that when she co-signs on this, it'll come through. And I'm talking about, you can back up the fighter's voice any time of the day, and we will come through and then some.
All right, you said it. I'm going to be your PR then.
That's way.
PR.
Yeah, let's check some of the wording there. We'll make that happen. Definitely.
So with everything that's going on and the way in the direction that the industry is taken, I know you're just a PR, so it's not really a question of when do you see a promotion going back, or it's like, what do you see being the biggest challenges as a PR high up the food chain? Like, as far as PR goes in the boxing world, you're super high up the food chain. What are the challenges that you see being presented now with the landscape change that we're obviously going to see, or potentially could see with, like, say, potentially like no audience events? Like, how hard is it to really market that? I need somebody I can put on TV. It's no longer somebody that can put asses in seats. It's now somebody I have to go, will he be good on TV? Is he articulate? Does he look good? Does he have a social media following base already? Does he do videos already? Like, all these factors, do you feel that that's going to be like the new challenge as far as the PR landscape that you might be facing?
Definitely. I absolutely think that, because there's always the undercard that's non-televised, right? Which is probably still going to be non-televised. So how are these younger prospects going to get PR without an audience?
Right.
Do you feel I'm sorry.
Even the champions, they're gonna need like this extra PR, this social media existence that they're not used to. A fighter's job is for a very short term of their life, and they have to be completely focused in their training camp. They shouldn't be focused on their PR. They shouldn't be focused on the business. They should be focused on training and getting in that ring and winning. But now you're going to have fighters that are worried, of their purses, because they're not that well known. Their purses are going to go down. All the fighters are going to probably get a pay cut in the next year or so, like for the next year.
Yeah,
because there's been so much money lost in these last couple months.
Well, yeah, because a lot of that purse is directed from ticket sales, like actual people through the gate. Like, a lot of the gate makes up a lot of that purse.
And if I go to a
gate.
fight with you, I don't want to sit 4 seats away from you.
Exactly. It's a social thing.
I want to sit next to you and have a beer or a drink and cheer for our fighter.
Yeah, and some of the merchandise too. I mean, that's sold there at that event.
The food vendors. I mean, do you see the price of I'm just going to pick a name, a Top Rank or a Oscar De La Hoya event, Golden Boy or something. Do you see a top level promotion lowering their pay-per-view buy costs so that maybe more people could afford to do it, because now you're going to have a higher base of people at home now to watch with that potentially disposable income, depending on who has jobs and don't. That's a separate variable. But do you see them lowering the price to try to extend that viewership? And if so, do you see them extending the length of what they show? Like, instead of right now they don't show the prelims. That's a given. You buy a boxing card, it's the main card, and that's it. Right. The live people watch the prelims. But do you see them extending possibly for those prelim fights the content now? Because now they're forced to give more content, because you can't watch it in the arena. You have to watch it on TV. So we got to give you more bang for your buck, either maybe lowering the price for the main card, or just keeping the price the same but extending the content, including the prelim card on TV. So therefore maybe potentially giving you that PR boost of having those guys where he was off TV.
They're not going to have a choice but to lower it, period. They're not going to have a choice but to lower it. There's some people that were waiting for the pandemic to be over and just, we're going to have a show in June or July. And there were some people that were working through the pandemic, and I don't know if it's been announced yet, or I'm announcing it now, but there's going to be $10 pay-per-views once a month from TVS, who is Video Techniques. Video Techniques owns 18 of Muhammad Ali's fights, including Ali Frazier, Ali Foreman, all the great fights. They're back.
All the classics.
They're back with their TV. They're back with a free streaming service where it's exactly like The Zone, but you can watch it free. But they're gonna have a pay-per-view for $10 a month.
Oh, cool. So that'll give us maybe a chance to showcase those prelim guys a little more, maybe.
Like a big fight for $10 a month.
That's cool.
And they're gonna focus also on women, which is something that a lot of these promoters are not doing. So while other people were sleeping, other people were working, and I'm sorry, my daughter literally just came out with her prom dress.
Oh, how's it look? What color is it? How's it look?
Black sequins, and she looks so beautiful.
There you are. Hey, soak up that moment.
Picture later. She's showing too much skin, though. She's showing too much skin.
That's the mom right there. That's the mom.
Exactly.
That's how I would be that way too. I would be like, nah, let me get my measuring stick out.
Going back to that, Golden Boy, The Zone, Top Rank, everyone, they're going to have to lower their pay-per-views because you have to think all those seats, all those people that were buying seats, now they're going to be home watching the fight. So they're going to make a profit anyway, so why not lower it? Who wants to pay $80 for a pay-per-view? Charge them less and you're going to keep your audience.
Yeah, because you don't have all the overhead and labor to pay for anymore. You don't have an arena to rent.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably still going to, I'm probably still going to have to go supervise, and I love it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be one of the lucky ones. I'm gonna be one of the lucky ones that still get to actually watch a live fight.
Yeah, to still attend, and I know they're very. And that's one thing I was gonna talk to you about. I know they're very selective on that. What's the criteria now? Before it was tough to get in there. I mean, even for media, because you got to constantly prove you are who you say you are. How tough is it going to be now?
I don't know if media is going to be allowed in there, honestly.
Yeah, it'll probably be right up there with audience. They'll be either
I don't think
isolated.
it's going to be allowed because everybody who attends, including myself, if I supervise, because the last fight I supervised was Ryan Garcia in February. But whoever's part of a fight, you have to be tested for coronavirus before. You have to be tested like 2 weeks after. There's a whole protocol on all of this now.
Yeah, very stringent protocol. UFC's already been implementing a lot of that, like testing before you get there, testing during the week, make sure nothing pops up, like everyone's movement is tracked. It's and
the fighters are separated or are training for 2 weeks before alone, right? Isolated with their training camp, right?
Yeah, if they're smart, they should be. You really don't have a choice.
Well, they're locked in that hotel, man, and they're not going anywhere.
Oh yeah. I mean, week of fight, you got nothing but training rooms and time on your hands.
And that's the MMA part of it.
People are not going to get used to that. I'm not going to get used to that. I want to go back to what we have, and I know it's going to take some time. Yeah. And I really do I'm one of those ones that I'm still optimistic, and I do have faith that we're going to have our fights the way we're used to, before. Maybe not in the next 6 months, but hopefully, by next year we can be having these fights. We have Fury versus Wilder 3 was supposed to be in July.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. What's your take on that now? I mean, there's been since there's some obstacles. I've been hearing rumors, step aside money for Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. They're going to fight without a crowd. What's your whole take on that? Because the magnitude of both fights was just through the roof. I saw you in Vegas during that weekend, and it was crazy.
It was electrifying. Did you go to our green carpet?
No, see, I don't get all those special treatments like Nancy does. See, Nancy shows up with her red jacket, her WBC belt, and they just bring her a green carpet and a red carpet.
Well, I mean...
I just gotta carry the belt to get around.
That's it.
I borrow it.
That's
it.
I'm
just kidding.
That's it. See, Cole, did you see the way she threw it in there? She goes, did you drive in the Ferrari too? I mean, did you eat the lobster too? No, it was electrifying.
Well, okay, where did you sit, really quick, where did you sit for Wilder Fury 2?
I was one of those ones that had to keep moving around.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. I had a seat in the corral, which is like right by the ring.
Oh,
my
that's
seat
nice.
was taken by God knows who. I wasn't gonna ask for it because I had my friend down there, so I wasn't gonna, move anybody out. People kept on telling me that I had to move Jake Paul's people, everybody's people. So I was one of moving the floor too, with my heels.
There you go. There
You
you
know,
go.
so I just tell, but you know what? I didn't care because it was such an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah.
I was just singing along with everybody. It was amazing. I personally think that Wilder and Fury and Wilder now, I think they should have their rubber match before they fight Anthony Joshua and then unify. Just because you gotta go with the momentum.
Yeah, you do.
You were there. It was amazing. I want to go back and live it again.
I'll tell you this. Deontay Wilder has a right hand. It reminds me of Tommy the Hitman Hearn's right hand. But I got to tell you this, Cole, and I want to tell the whole world. So the whole world, I want you to listen.
Chapulin reminded you of Tommy Hearns.
Well, he does, the Mexican Tommy Hearns, but I'm talking about
you love Tommy Hearns.
Actually, he's my favorite fighter, but I do recognize that. But I will say this: I'm talking about the power of Deontay Wilder. How to put him out. Nancy, you did your research, huh? You are who you say you are. She's pulling out some things out of Richard Ortiz that a lot of people don't know. But I will say this, and I want the whole world to know: there's only one Tyson Fury.
There's only one.
That is true. That gentleman is a very unique individual. He was put on the planet for one thing.
I love him. He inspires me. He suffers from anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
There's an interview that I have on one of my YouTube channels. I don't know if it's my personal one or my Supreme one,
Yeah.
but where he speaks about how being in camp is his therapy for anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
You
lot
know,
of it is
and I
fighters.
think we all have that outlet. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you have yours for, whenever you feel sad or
Well,
when you remember
Nancy,
your son.
Nancy, you're on it. My therapy is behind the microphone. I mean,
Yeah, there it
my
is.
whole career is dedicated to my son, and that is my serenity. So, I mean, there was a nice cue there, a nice setup, and I went with that. Cole, I know you want to ask that $1 million question. I'm going to let you address that Mike Tyson comeback, man. to
Man.
Nancy.
That Tyson thing is becoming like, it's starting to formulate more and more visually. Like, people are really starting to look at it and go, okay, hold on. If he did fight someone a little older, maybe, like, okay, the Ortiz thing, that's silly. That's dumb. That's what I wouldn't mind seeing Tyson, though, fight somebody a little older that is actually still in shape, too. Or somebody else that was just like, I just stayed in shape my whole life. Like, that would be cool. Would he fucking destroy them? Probably. Like, the dude looks like a monster, and they're like, oh, but that's just a clip. Dude, no, stop. Tyson's not going to let something go out there and not be able to go, oh, yeah, I can go 12 rounds right now. No problem. Like, he looks like age is just a number type scenario is how I see Tyson turn out. But that's not the question I was going to ask. I have one, and it has to do with her anxiety. Being a PR person, which fighter has given you the most anticipated anxiety of what they're going to do post-fight if they win? Like, when they put that mic in front of them and you're just like, please don't say anything stupid. Please don't say anything stupid. Please, 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 please. So who's giving you the most anxiety just sitting there watching going, okay, man, just don't do it?
That has to be my compa, Brandon Rios. Oh my gosh.
Always the fear factor on that one, huh?
Brandon, I love Brandon to death. He has no filter. He
None.
says it how it is. He calls it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I imagine there's a lot of bleeps.
Which is with Brandon, what you see is what you get.
Absolutely.
So even if I tell him, hey, you gotta say this, or you prep him, he will not say what I tell him to say. He'll say whatever he wants to say.
That is a very common thing among fighters.
But you know what? That's why the people love him, because
Exactly.
Brandon is real.
Yeah, he's honest and open front. He doesn't sound
Brandon
like he's
is
reading
real.
something.
And about Mike Tyson can kick anybody's ass.
Right?
He can probably kick somebody's ass that's younger than him. That's in their prime right now.
I can see him wrecking some dudes. But what's the point? Like, where's the? It's all risk.
But Mike Tyson hates the boxing part of his life. Mike Tyson says that was the worst. That was the egotistical Mike Tyson, and that's not who he is anymore. He's more spiritual. He's a different Mike Tyson. So personally, I don't think he's gonna do any of that.
Nah, I hear they're offering him like some high money for a bare knuckle fight
Some
too.
crazy dollars.
Like I hear some crazy money being thrown around, but the problem is I don't know how much of it is actually, because I haven't seen any promotion come forward and say, yeah, no, we offered him 20 million or something. It's just been articles and people saying that they're reporting on this, they heard it and this and that. I've yet to really see.
But you know, that's just talk.
And
At
that's
the
the
end of
thing,
the day,
yeah.
He's making so much money off of the CBD and his
Oh,
Tyson
yeah,
ranch.
and he owns like 500 acres of like a farm. He owns a pot farm. He's like 500 acres of a distribution farm.
Yeah, he's making so much money off of that.
But to make
Mike-
like 10 plus million to go punch somebody again, like I just can't see, you know,
Yeah,
I can't
passing
see
it up.
Mike passing it up. Like, especially if he's in shape and healthy, it's like, dude, for competition's sakes, come make a bunch of money, bro. Throw some leather again. Like, you're in shape, why not? Like, I could see him being like,
It's
"Meh."
now or never. I
Yeah.
honestly, I gotta disagree with you, Nancy. I think that we'll see him
Really?
in the ring, but doing an exhibition. I don't see him at okay, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the red corner. No, I think it's going to be more of an exhibition, more of a friendly match. 4 rounds, because you can't schedule that for 10 rounds. And I mean, no. I mean,
I know. Maybe I know a different Mike Tyson. I know a more spiritual Mike Tyson, but I don't see him going back in the ring.
I'm going off the Mike Tyson with the sweatiest Clipper shirt saying anyone wants some can get some.
Well,
like,
see-
that's the Tyson I'm going off
Well,
right
see,
now.
See, here's the thing, ESCOVEDO. Let me explain something to you. See, Nancy's not going to just come out and bust out. She probably had dinner with Mike
That's what
Tyson
I'm saying. She probably
yesterday.
knows. It's a rigged
We
bet.
did.
And-
The Wilder Fury 2 fight, we had dinner the night before the fight.
See?
That's a rigged bet, man. That's a rigged bet. She'd be like, no, I already talked to Mike. He already said no.
Exactly.
It's rigged.
And even if he was going to come back, she'll say, okay, no, because Richard said he were, so don't do it right now. Mm-hmm. You know, do it
Yeah,
do
let
it a
me
little
call
later.
him up and say, don't do it, because then I'm going to look bad.
Do you okay? Let's play devil's advocate. Let's play hypothetical Harry here. If he did agree to take a combat sport contract, do you see it being boxing, or do you see it potentially being a bare knuckle organization? Because MMA is out of the question. He's not gonna waste his time with that.
Bare knuckle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Bare knuckle.
There's more potential money right now to be made for his name and his star power than in boxing. In boxing, they'd be like, yeah, you're not a Mayweather though. We're not going to give you 500 million. We'll give you 10 million, because they know that it's like, yeah, he's a draw, but there's so many bigger names that are worth the budget. So, but bare knuckle though, they'll be like, dude, we'll just throw heaps of cash at it, dude. We'll make you the main thing. We'll put you all over TV. It'll be like when Shamrock started his Valor.
Yeah.
They did a very specific thing. They took a very specific direction, and they avoided certain things because they didn't want it to cloud their inaugural event, kind of thing, so to speak. So,
Very well put together, too.
yeah, exactly. It was a
Right.
great show. I can't wait for the next one.
Exactly.
But yeah, I could see Tyson doing bare knuckle. That I could see him, because I mean, he'd be messing something up, dude. Just all open-handed. I could see him just going, yeah, I just want to punch somebody in the face with my knuckle. Like, I could see him doing that and doing it well.
I would love to sit back and watch
And
a
oh my
fight with
God,
Mike
there would
Tyson.
be so much blood.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think it'd be over really fast, too.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think we'd like maybe 2 or 3 exchanges. Mikey'd find his range, and then pop, pop, and that'd be it.
And that's it.
That's
That's, all,
it.
she wrote. That's
man.
all she wrote.
That's
Nancy,
natural. And not too many fighters have a killer instinct, but Mike Tyson is one of them.
Yeah,
that does.
it's in his DNA. Like,
you know how
when
many
you see him
fighters?
hit.
You know how many fighters he motivated that wanted to be like Mike? And I'm not talking about Jordan. I'm talking about Mike
Right?
Tyson.
The level of success and focus and determination he had in his fighting, like the way he approached it.
And not only that, Nancy, check this out. Able to reinvent yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
after, okay, we want nothing to do with him. People were judgmental, but he reinvented himself. And the words that come out of his mouth, I mean, he is a boxing historian, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah, he's learned
Yeah,
from the
he
best.
is. And when I'm 53, I want to have a six-pack like him.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, Nancy.
I know. He's
Wait,
humble.
hold on a
He's up
second.
there.
Nancy, you want to have one that he has, or one that you're holding in your hand? Okay. Let us.
No. I want to have my own girl six-pack. I don't
No,
want a
I
guy
know.
six-pack.
I was talking about the cold one. I was talking about a cold one in your hand.
Oh!
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so real quick, being in PR, and again, like I said, I'm trying to gear all my questions for you towards the very direct ability that you can have to answer it with your experience and knowledge. What advice would you give, specifically boxing managers? What advice would you give managers today on how to properly promote your fighter in the best way possible without getting too financially invested? I would say, like, not setting up for meet and greets. Like, how would you do it? Would you just cut them loose on social media? Would you build for them?
You know, if you're a prospect, if you're a manager and you have a bunch of prospects, social media is free. Social media is free. Courses are free. I've been taking digital marketing courses during the quarantine.
Smart.
Just to better myself, because when I come back, I want to come back even better than I was before. So all a manager has to do is use the social media, which is free for their fighters. But a lot of them don't want to do the work. They just want to make the fights and all of that.
And it's really not that hard.
To the fighter. Promoters have so many fighters, they can't focus on promoting each one of them. So every fighter has a responsibility to build their own audience. I can name you fighters that have done it. Female and male. Franchon Cruz, she is so good at marketing herself. Sulem Urbina. Mercito Gesta, who's, there's a lot of fighters that know how to use social media to their advantage. Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia used social media completely to his advantage, and look at where he is now.
Absolutely.
And,
and plus he could fight.
But they didn't pay one penny.
No.
Or you can hire somebody like me to do it, but why when you can do it free? Through social media.
Yeah, you just got to be able to, you just have to be on them a little. Like, it's not that hard to start a page for someone to go, look, dude, every Wednesday I want you to send me video of you sparring. Every Tuesday I want you to send me video of you rolling. And just say something, do something. It's easy.
Videos are amazing. Videos get so many views. Whenever we do PR through Supreme Boxing, I always tell the fighters, don't send me a picture, send me videos, because the videos will get more views.
Content is so much easier. People want to watch videos.
People are visual. They want to see action. They want to see movement. They want to be there, and that's the closest thing to them being there is a video.
Yeah, definitely. Or with Supreme Boxing, we do offer at a very low cost a rotation where we can post our videos 2-3 times a week. Why not have a manager invest on big social media pages like Fight Hype, Supreme Boxing, TV Boxeo? There's so many pages out there that are doing good, because honestly, people are scrolling through Instagram and TikTok more than they are. I know that we're on YouTube, but more than they are on YouTube.
Different platforms for different things. They really hear.
You got to hit every platform, every opportunity that you can, especially if it's free. Now, the price that you got to pay, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to tell the truth, I'm going to offend some people, is get your ass off the couch and don't be lazy and pay that price of just doing it, physically doing it.
You got to go out there and do it.
If somebody calls you to do an interview, do it.
Yes.
We
talked about that.
We were talking about that earlier.
I'm going to tell you guys this. I had such a difficult day today. I had a horrible day today. But Richard texted me if I was available. I know that me as a PR, I have to stay relevant, and I have to use every outlet that's offered to me to keep my job, to keep my career going. So when he told me, hey, are you available at 6? I made myself available at 6.
Plus, you lead by example.
Make yourself available to any interview that people offer you, because whether you get 1 fan, 5 fans, or 100 fans, or 1,000 fans, that's more fans than you had yesterday.
That's some of that consultation that we were talking about, Cole. Before this whole coronavirus hit, I was saying, Cole, you need to start doing consultations, because all the advice we're talking about today, Cole would give it to our young fighters, Nancy. I mean, they just wouldn't, like, when they were here and they would come in with buddies, nobody had a phone out. Nobody was getting content for them. They were just there, and I'm thinking, bro, grab this opportunity. Grab every opportunity. And there's a lot of times you don't get that opportunity, so you got to take advantage of that opportunity in front of you.
That's true. You do. Sometimes you're just presented with stuff.
And like I said, there's people that read the paper. They don't watch social media or the news. So if someone comes to you and wants to do an interview with a small magazine, do it, because that 80-year-old man that still reads that paper is going to become your fan.
Yes, he is.
So you just got to take every opportunity. Don't think that any outlet is better than others, because at the end of the day, every single outlet is going to make you fans. So you got to take the opportunities.
Absolutely. Hey, Nancy, I want to ask you about this fight and these two fighters right here. A lot of people have been going back and forth lately and thinking that this fight is possibly going to take place in the UK. And I'm talking about Jose Ramirez, and I'm talking about Josh Taylor. Where do you think that fight's going to take place, and who are you leaning towards?
First of all, you know I was supervising that fight in China in January, right?
Well, this is only on the Fighter's Voice. Let's keep talking.
We were literally 2 days away from going to China, and I was gonna do my first international. I've supervised in the United States. I had never supervised out of the country. I've been out of the country, but I've never supervised. So for me, this was a big thing. And next thing you know, we get a call from Bob Arum that there's coronavirus in China, so it's canceled.
Boo.
And that burst my bubble. I was so sad. And then they programmed it again for May here in Fresno. In Fresno. Okay, Nancy, you're going to supervise in Fresno. Boom. Coronavirus hits the United States, so then it's canceled here. Jose Ramirez, I don't care where he fights, I'm going to be there.
Right.
That guy is going to be a champion for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I know that I'm not supposed to be biased, and I'm not, and I know he's a WBC champion, but that kid is so talented.
Yeah, he's going to have...
And the higher his competition, the better that he does. Even if he goes to fight in the UK, Josh Taylor, and I nothing but respect for Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez is another animal. And under Robert Garcia, he's even evolved even better.
Yeah, no,
I agree with you.
Well, we were talking before, whenever Jose comes up, we're always talking about, we don't, like, boxing is just like a phase in his life, I think. Like, we always talk about how the dude's going to be like a career of something else.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, not a stepping stone, so to speak, but this is like one of the legs of his
Jose
eventual
Ramirez
story.
is going to be bigger than a boxing champion.
Yeah,
Jose
exactly.
Ramirez is going to be a politician, and
Absolutely.
it wouldn't even shock me if one day he's
Sad.
the president of the United States. Or maybe the governor of California or something.
Hold on, Nancy, and tell the truth right now. Are you is Rick texting you right now? Is he texting you? Is he in the same room with you?
No, of course not. No.
No, but yeah, we always talk up every time Jose comes
Class
up.
act,
We
man.
always talk that like boxing is just going to be something that he did when he was younger, and his real like what he's known for, and when he's
Very
gone,
intelligent.
he's going to be remembered for politics.
I've been with Jose where we're at a restaurant and we're eating, or we're in Cancun and we should be having fun and stuff. You know what he's doing? He's shadow boxing.
Yeah.
He's bettering himself. He's obsessed with bettering himself to stay a champion. It's so easy to become a champion. It's hard to stay a champion.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's harder to fall off the top of the mountain than it is to climb up. It's way hard.
And I believe that Jose is going to be a champion for a long time.
That's a hard task, man. That's a hard task. I've known some MMA fighters that have kept their belt for a long time, like Demetrius Johnson. He kept his forever. It's a hard thing. It's really hard. The belts change hands so often in so many weight classes.
His work ethic is through the roof, and his pedigree is exactly where it needs to be. Comes from a great family. His brother Luis is a big influence on his life. His mom and dad, and he has a great testimony. Charles Tremblay in his corner, managed by, of course, Rick Merrigan, and trained by Robert Garcia. And in that gym, I will tell you this: when you go to Garcia's Boxing Academy,
You get the best sparring.
thank you. Iron sharpens iron.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I've been there, and I'm not going to say anything because what happens in the gym stays in the gym. World champion, come here, get in the ring. World champion, come here, get in the ring. And what you're watching right there is a freaking pay-per-view phenomenal,
fight,
and you're just
Mikey
glued to it.
Garcia versus Jose Ramirez. Brandon Rios, Jose Ramirez. Mikey and Brandon.
Virgil Ortiz.
Tino Maidana versus Brandon. You get the best sparring at Robert's gym.
Virgil Ortiz, he's there just lighting people up too.
Virgil
I mean,
too.
this welterweight hits like a
Virgil's
middleweight.
another one. Virgil, once he becomes a champion, a world champion, he's going to be champion for a long time. I still believe he can beat Errol Spence Jr.
You know what? I want to see that fight take place. I really do. I really do.
Like
And,
right now, the
styles make
promoters should
fights.
be like taking notes of like all the fights that fans have been
Well,
talking
there's
about.
no.
wanting to
I
see.
mean, we're in a time frame, bro. I mean, there's no more. Okay, with 2 more fights than the titles, the big fights are going to start happening. I mean, the mandatories are in place because they're in place, but
People don't want to see tune-ups
No,
when they go back
no.
to boxing.
No,
They want
hell
to see
no.
the big fights.
no.
Yeah, they want to see what their guys
Yeah.
are up to, man.
No,
There's
if
betting
payday's
to be
every
had.
Friday, I'm not waiting until next Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. You know, we've all been waiting. We all been patient, but you're always gonna have that Monday night quarterback. Okay, well, I don't like the matchup. I don't like where it's at, and why are they doing, bro? Then you know what? Just be quiet and then go watch a rerun or something. I'm waiting for live fights.
But Richard, you were at Tachi Palace and other places watching Jose Ramirez. You saw when he had lower competition, he wouldn't look as good as he looks when he has tougher competition. Jose just gets better and better as his competition gets better, right?
You're absolutely right. I will tell you this. There's a different look when Jose's fighting for a belt. I mean,
Yeah.
there is honestly, he kind of has that look of freaking Roberto Duran / Helter Skelter, man. I mean,
That
it's
beard,
just,
that squiggly
bro,
beard
he
going.
looks right through you, man.
I thought you were going to say Tommy Hearns again.
Hey, nobody Mad Dog people like Tommy Hearns. Those eyes right there, they look right through you. You know that already.
Yeah. He's just another animal.
No, he is another animal. Kron Jim, Emmanuel Stewart all day long.
Yeah.
Detroit. And
Yeah,
actually,
you know-
Tommy Hearns, it wasn't originally the Hitman. It was
What
the
was it?
Motor City Cobra at first.
What made him change
Yeah.
into the Hitman? Just knocking
Yeah,
people
you're
out?
right.
Started knocking people out.
Yeah,
Kept
that
that
makes
left hand
sense.
low. Baited
Well,
him in.
maybe the other one took too long to say.
Maybe it
And
did.
they say, you're dummy. You need to shorten your name, Tommy. It's too long.
Maybe it did. Hey, speaking of nicknames, Nancy, off the top of your head, give us some great nicknames on some of the fighters that are out there today. I just want to change it up a little bit.
Oh man, the greatest nicknames.
Yeah.
I really, obviously I'm gonna go back to Bam Bam because Brandon Bam Bam Rios. That's exactly who he is. Jose Ramirez doesn't have a nickname. We need to get him one.
I mean, I've always called him the Avenal Kid, but it's all,
No, that's not a nickname.
Oh, okay.
That's just like who he is.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm. That's a
Okay, well then,
persona.
no, who he is going to be a mayor, president, a senator.
Mayor of Avenel.
Well, no, the mayor of Fresno, I think so.
I like to see him in his ranch. He looks so happy in his own nicknames. You know what I liked? I liked when Maricela fought Franchon Cruz because it was La Diva versus the heavy-hitter diva.
Oh, I like that. That had a good ring to it.
So they were both divas.
Yeah. There you go.
And
Nancy's
yeah.
a diva, man. She's a WBC diva. She's a
not a
supreme diva.
Oh, okay.
She's the red
See what you did there?
jacket. Co-Escovedo, she is the red jacket diva. And I'm going to pick on her a little bit.
you know, I'm never gonna wear the red anymore.
Bro, yeah, every time she sees red, she'd be self-conscious. She'd be like, I'm not wearing it.
Hey, no, let me tell you something. When she's doing events for WBC, she's very professional on her attire and everything that she wears. But when she puts on that red jacket, it's like the whole swag. It's like
Fire.
something happens,
Fire.
man. It just really the high heels get a little higher. Everything's just happening. She has her own theme music
Like
too,
a
man.
good suit,
So
man.
imagine,
Exactly.
the last fight I supervised, Ryan Garcia, was on Valentine's Day, so I wore a red jacket and red heels.
You did. I think I texted
I
you and
did.
said something. I said, yeah, that red jacket's on fire.
Yeah. That was a short fight. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
but-
minute and 18
yeah.
seconds.
That left hook.
That's it? That's a short
Yeah.
fight.
What do you guys think about Ryan Garcia?
I think he's the real deal. I think he's marketing himself. And honestly, I just want to see when he finally takes a good shot, how he regroups and how he reacts, because he definitely can dish it out. I think he's
Yeah.
he's going to be a good one, a great one even. I mean, he has all the attributes. He has the looks. He has a killer instinct. He's a people's champion. And at times, he'll go over the top to get a fight, but he's very humble. His feet are still on the ground.
Yeah,
That's my take on him.
that gives you the
Yeah.
the outs, so to speak, being
Yeah,
humble.
absolutely. What's your take on him, Nancy?
I love his faith. I've always believed in Ryan. I've known Ryan since before he became a pro, when he was an amateur.
Yeah.
I do believe in his talent, and I do believe that with Eddie Reynoso, he's been bettering himself even more.
Yeah.
I think he's going to become champion. I think he can be. I feel he can beat the lightweights,
You know
the
what?
lightweight champions.
He's the only non-champion out there that everybody keeps talking about.
Yeah, and they're
The
so
people's
like,
champion.
So like the champions are calling out the non-champion.
Exactly.
What does that tell you?
Exactly.
That branding, self-branding is key.
Exactly. And it tells you a little bit of envy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you got a guy that's branding himself and getting all the attention, and you have the belt and he doesn't. I as a champion, I'd be like, that's bullshit. That'd piss me off too, and I'd want to take a crack at him. So I can get it.
I'll tell you this much: there's a lot of divisions, but the lightweight division is fire right now.
Oh, it is. It
I
is.
want to see them all fight each other. Except for, I really do want to see Canelo versus Benavides. I really do.
Ooh, oh
wanna
yeah,
see that
168. Okay, well, let's talk about that. Who do you have?
fight. Benavides.
Absolutely. I'll say it right now. Absolutely.
Benavides. I love
Yep.
Canelo, and I love how
I
much
do too.
he's bettered himself. I personally feel that if Floyd Mayweather gave Canelo an opportunity at 23 years old, why can't you do the same for Benavides?
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe he learned
it.
from Mayweather's
Do it for the
mistake.
sake of boxing.
At 168.
Maybe there could be a trilogy there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great matchup. Actually, Yeah, we've thrown those names up before, and you know, if it was up to Canelo, actually, I think he would, because he truly wants to fight the best in his era.
Yeah.
But that is a blockbuster fight ready to happen. I agree with you there.
Canelo Benavides is the fight people want to see. They don't want to see Canelo versus Saunders and all those. No, Canelo Benavides is something that people would actually sit down and watch.
That's fireworks.
Yeah.
On May or September. That is fireworks.
September, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
Well, now they're saying, what, 4th of July is going to be the new?
Yeah, that's what I was hearing, 4th of July. But
Yeah. Well, the 4th of July is supposed to be, what's his name? Ryan Garcia versus Linares.
yeah, no. Well, I mean, that's still up in the air unless you just want to spill it right now. That'd be great, man.
We've had an oops on the show before from somebody who let loose like a release date for a promotion that was put in their first show. And he was like, yeah, blah, 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 January. And we were like, wait, what'd you say?
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, nothing.
Well, actually, Andy Ruiz Jr., he said, I'm fighting for the belt. And then he said, oh, we got to pull that right now.
Yeah,
because
he said that too.
Eddie Hearn but no, that's a whole story in itself.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
great. That was a great interview. It was. Nancy, you're always busy. You're always on the grind, and you always make time, man. And it kind of rhymed a little bit. But it did, and that's the way we flow. So let me ask you this. Okay, I'm going to put your promoter's hat on right now.
Okay.
What 2 fights would you make if you had the power, you had the influence, you had the networks, and you had the income to satisfy all 4 fighters? So what 2 fights would you put together?
Well, one of them I already said. Canelo Benavides.
Okay, there you go.
Canelo Benavides. The other one, I know that I already said the other one, but the winner of Wilder Fury versus Anthony Joshua.
Okay. That's a good matchup.
Which I would love to. I still want to see Wilder versus Joshua.
Oh, I want to see that too, only because of
still
what
want
the
to see
lead.
it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we will see
You
it.
can't make me pick 2 because I also want to see Virgil Ortiz versus Errol Spence. You know.
Well, I got something for you.
Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. I want to see that.
She just wants to see Ryan Garcia.
Oh, she does.
I want to see Marisela Cornejo versus Clarissa Shields because I actually do believe that will be Clarissa's toughest competition. Yeah.
I want to. What about Hannah Gabriels?
Marisela beats Hannah Gabriels, hands down. Marisela probably knocks her out.
What about Raquel Miller?
That's a tough fight. I don't know. Both Raquel Miller and Mari. Are you talking about Raquel Miller and Mari or Raquel Miller and Clarissa?
Well, okay, let's talk about Raquel Miller and Marissa and Mari.
Okay, so Raquel Miller and Mari, they've already sparred. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, I've heard that. I don't. You just co-signed
Confirmed
that.
it, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, they've already
Send me the video
sparred.
when we get off. But go ahead.
No, I can't do that. But I think that's a tough fight for both of them. I can't call that one. Yeah. I honestly can't call that one. I do, however, believe Mari can beat Clarissa.
Wow, I want to see that happen. That'd be a good matchup. Styles make fights. That'd be a very good matchup.
And I feel that could catapult Mari's career, to a whole nother level.
Absolutely. Big time. I mean, that'll just, exactly. A world champion and beating the GOAT at that? Yes, absolutely it will.
Wouldn't that be an amazing trilogy, though? Just, that would be a fight that people want to see. Like, what? Somebody beat Clarissa, and then Clarissa comes back, and she beats Mari, and then we have the rubber match. I mean, that's what boxing needs. That's what we live off of.
Boxing needs a women's tournament. Of all the fighters that we named it, and also put in there Christina
There's going to be one.
Hammer.
All championship. There's going to be one.
You know what? I need to get you on the show a little more. I got to get everyone on the show more, Cole, because every time we do, we just continue to get that info, man, and it's going to the right media outlet. Because, at the end of the day, man, I'll leave that one alone.
Say it.
I see other outlets out there. I do, Nancy, and I see them sitting ringside. And at the end of the day, where is their content? Where's their interview? All I see is selfies, and I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it 100. I'm waiting for someone to tap me on the shoulder and then be an auditor and say, okay, who are you? Let's see your website. Let's see who you're with. Let's see your content, et cetera, et cetera. So I see that, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, yeah. Anyways, I said it, and we'll move on from
there's a lot of
that.
those ringside. I don't know how they get there.
I don't know.
So I've been meaning to ask.
It's
So
who you know. It's who you know. It's not me.
No, yeah, exactly. No, I didn't say it was you. You're out there, you're out there grinding. But I will say this before Cole asks you another question, because we were talking about matchups. I'm going to go out and I'm going to take a step ahead, okay?
Okay.
I got Jose Ramirez beating Bud Crawford at 147. Plain and simple, period. I said it.
Ooh.
I'm still friends with Jamel. I'm still friends with Hooker. Bud, we're cool. But I just
I
want
have
to
to
see that
agree
matchup.
with you.
I want to see that matchup. So
I have to agree with you because I know that I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but I haven't seen Crawford fight elite competition to date.
ooh. Only on the fighter's voice do you hear the truth.
that's rough.
So
No, it is rough. That's
I
That's
think
like a
his
setting off
toughest
alarm bells.
competition will be Jose.
Well, I'm looking for
Well,
that.
if his first taste of competition is Jose, that's going to be a trial by fire.
It is. It is. Shoot away, Cole.
Am I going to get in trouble for saying that?
No, you're
No,
not.
hell no.
No, you're not. This is
Speaking your
the fighter's
professional
voice.
opinion, come on.
Absolutely. The only voice that matters. All women have a voice.
I'm giving my opinion, and this has nothing to do with me being part of
This is
WBC or being part of Supreme. This is just me talking as a fan.
Yeah.
I love Terrence Crawford and everything that he stands for, but
I do too.
I haven't seen him fight elite competition at all.
It's going to be a rough test then if he fights Jose for his first
So,
competition considered fight.
So Jose would be his toughest competition, and Jose is an amazing fighter. I feel that Jose can beat him.
I feel both men can beat each other, but I feel Jose has the knowledge, the attributes, the power, and the wits, and I'll say in the balls to stand toe-to-toe with this man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I agree with you there. Shoot away, Cole.
What I was going to ask is, are you exclusively contracted with not just the WBC, but boxing in general? Have you considered expanding your PR skill into MMA or even bare knuckle, since bare knuckle is probably closer to boxing as far as the type of fighter you would interact with and the sport that you're actually PRing or promoting for those fighters? Or are you just, I don't want to say just happy, but have you thought about branching out? Is it something you're even allowed to do? Because I don't know what your contract liability is.
Yeah. No, look, if I knew more of UFC, I wouldn't mind doing PR in UFC, but I don't know enough about it. Bare knuckle boxing, I would totally do. Like, what's his name? The guy that won the Olympics, silver medal, that he's now bare knuckle boxing. Help me out here.
We're not talking about the heavyweight Shannon Briggs. We're talking about the middleweight, right? He was on the Contender.
He's younger. No, he's gosh, I can't remember. He's from Kansas, from where Brandon's from.
I mean,
He was with
boxing's real weird.
Shakur, all of the. Well, anyways, I would totally do PR for him. He's very marketable, and he's bare knuckle boxing.
So you're really just lacking the fighters within the sport itself.
You see, the fact that I didn't remember his name is he needs PR.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's
I hate that when I can't remember a name. I'll come to a red light and I go, "Oh, there it is." So I should have said that. Or
when
okay.
a PR person doesn't know your name, you're not putting yourself out there enough. Like that's really all there is to it. Like, because if they don't know who you are, then that means your average fan with limited exposure is going to not even know who you are. So
You want to become a household name. You want to be Manny Pacquiao, Mike Tyson. That's at the end of the day, people don't know. I love Virgil Ortiz. I know who Virgil Ortiz, but I'm a hardcore boxing fan involved in boxing. But if I ask my dad about Virgil Ortiz, he's not going to know who he is. Or even Oscar Valdez, who's a world champion, Zurdo Ramirez. There's so many fighters that are champions, and people don't know who they are.
Yeah,
and that's sad.
That is PR. That's management, and that's the fighter, him or herself as well. And yeah, you need to get content right there.
Yeah.
My man KP.
Sounds good, but it does mean that your knowledge and your Nico Hernandez. That's who you're thinking of.
KP.
That is our Asian
KP
Jeremy.
comes through. Did you see our Asian therapy?
Jeremy. That's our
Oh
Jeremy.
yeah, that's our Asian
Jeremy.
Jeremy. That's right.
Nico,
It's
he's
a-
very marketable. He's good looking. He's a good fighter. I still feel that he should stay in boxing, but if he wants to go bare knuckle, maybe they're paying him more money, so be it. But that kid is very marketable.
Yeah, so I was going to say, yeah, you should definitely look into
I have an eye
that.
for talent, Richard. I have an eye for talent, and when I see somebody that that can be a champion and do something,
Well,
it happens.
I question that because I have not got a call from you personally and said, Richard, I need you to go down here. I need you to go take care of this interview, make it happen. And I'll tell you a quick story. The president of the WBC, this is the president of WBC. He's walking on his way out. And you got to know when and where to approach him or say hello and greet yourself. I said, sir, it's a pleasure watching you. I appreciate the opportunity you've given me to cover some of your events and where you're at. I said, I would like to send you a reel. And you know what he said? Send it to Nancy Rodriguez. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. We'll do that. But I mean, I'm hearing you're his right-hand woman.
It's not that, it all comes down to trust. I always say this. I feel that with Mauricio, I'm another set of eyes for him. He's one person and he's so busy. So I'm his set of eyes here in the west side of the United States, in the Western Hemisphere. So from Vegas and over here, like any fighter that needs something, they know to come to me or media, and I'll help them. Even if you think that I'm busy, I'll find the time and I'll call you back, I'll email you back, and we'll figure something out. But at the end of the day, we're here to help the people. We're here to help the boxing community.
Well, I love that story. I love the story. I didn't mean to interrupt on the top of the show, Cole. It's just, I'm always going to remember that. I used to always see Nancy as the green jacket or the green belt, but I'm going to remember the story with helping the 70-year-old man.
Oh, okay, helping him with those finances.
If you go to our WBC LA page, I have a video that I posted of him this morning. That man was going to commit suicide. The reason we have September, Mexican independence fights is because of Changuito Carmona. Google him. He was the first ever September Mexican independence fight. He won the green belt, but he was going to kill himself, but he ended up becoming a boxer and trying it, and he became a champion. He has an amazing story, and when I was inducted into the California Boxing Hall of Fame, I'll never forget him crying, telling my parents, I hate saying this, but I'm just going to say, he goes, your daughter saved me. My wife and I, we were freezing. We didn't have anywhere to live, and we were homeless, and she helped us get a home. I didn't do it. I just filled out paperwork for him to get money that he deserved, that he earned in the ring. I found money for him. But that's what we do at the WBC. We try to find anything that we can do to help the fighters when they don't have anything.
Awesome. I've seen some of the things that you've done on some of the Fresno fights. Some fighters have been awarded WBC replica bouts, those that are fighting cancer, those that are fighting a special fight outside of the ring. And that's the whole thing about the fighter's voice. Our content is you don't need to be, we said it over and over again, you don't need to put a mouthpiece in your mouth or climb through a cage or a boxing ring to be a fighter. Every fighter has a voice, and so do the ones fighting cancer, so do the ones fighting to stay alive and contributing just like you did to that man. I mean, honestly, when that was on the top of the show, I was thinking, oh man, that's class act, that's second to none, man. And that's why we have the whole Women's Month of May. And that's Rodriguez on the show.
So much experience and so much just like history to the sport itself that is not regularly exposed, not regularly covered or highlighted.
Exactly.
And it's just, dude, it's like people are doing the jobs, all aspects of the industry.
Well, but here's the thing, though. If you work for, say you work for, a different organization, I'm going to be, or some, I can't say I am. Certain subjects are going to be very critical on the advice they give out for free. She's here on the Fighter's Voice, letting you know how to market yourself, the things to do, the things not to do, how to stay marketable, how to stay afloat, and giving it away. So this show, honestly, you're going to get a lot of content. If you're listening and paying attention and put all the other stuff aside, you're going to get fed the right dosage of food in order to be successful.
Yeah.
Look, you had over 2 months to make a whole bunch of videos of yourself fighting, shadow boxing, doing whatever. Now's the time, because the promoters are going to take the fighters that are in top shape, that are ready to fight, ready to get in the ring and make some money and become a champion. So now every single fighter that was just waiting, you're not going to get that opportunity. The ones that are going to get in the ring first are the ones that stayed ready and are going to market yourselves. I'll never forget the day that Bob Arum told me in China, this fight happened because we knew that you were behind it and you were going to give it the exposure it deserved. Awesome. Exposure is everything. Yes, fighters, you need to put content out there every single day. Every single day, put something out there. Talk to your fans. Respond to your fans. Say hi to them because they're the ones that are going to pay the tickets or the pay-per-views to watch you.
That's exactly what Kelly Swanson didn't say those exact words, but she said something similar. Remember, Cole? We talked about, hey, let the fans know that you exist. Let also know the fighters know that you appreciate them.
Yep. Because they're the ones that buy tickets.
Madi is a fighter. She used to always be on her phone, and I told her, dude, get off your phone, and when there's fans in front of you, give them your undivided attention because they're giving you. They're the ones that are gonna make you who you are, and after that, she started doing that, and she got. Come on, you saw her fan base grow. Yeah. You gotta give your fans all of you. You can't give them half of you because they can switch to another fighter. There's so many fighters.
They can, but I'll tell you a quick story about that, and I'm gonna get off the red jacket thing. She has one picture that just blew up, and you know which picture I'm talking about? Her on the scale. Her on the scale with yes, one picture. I wish we could pull it up right now, but her on the scale, and it was just, if you were not a fan, you were a fan after that. No, I mean really, it's about marketable.
Brand, tens of thousands of new followers because of that picture. Yes. But we knew that for that way, and it was her first fight with Golden Boy, and she was gonna wear a red swimsuit, and we had it all planned out. It's all a marketing plan. You gotta market yourself.
Absolutely. Co, anything you have for Nancy before we let her go, man?
If you hear anything, I got a cruiserweight looking for a fight when you guys start going back to work. That's about the closest to boxing I can have, but I do appreciate you giving me the insight on what it takes, what you feel managers should be focusing on coming back from the corona and things like that, things that are really going to matter versus just being in shape, because there's other variables that are going to get you those fights, and you kind of outline those for us tonight. So I do appreciate you giving that piece of experience or knowledge, I guess would be the easier
absolutely.
Answer. No, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you. I had a really good time with you guys.
And you know what the cool part is, Cole? Because we were going back and forth. Okay, how long is it? She goes, Richard, just give me 15 minutes.
Good luck.
No, she didn't say that.
Right?
No, she didn't say that at all. I said,
I was having a bad day.
Well, now you're having a good day.
Yeah, you guys made me happy. You guys made me smile again.
Just do me a favor. When you get off the phone, don't go off and start covering that dress. Let her show you the dress, and then you can make those adjustments like a great mother should.
I'll post a picture. Post a picture.
There you go. Hey, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate and thank our guest, Nancy, the PR of the WBC and the executive of Supreme Boxing. I always got to look down because I want to make sure because if you look at her bio, it's just off the chain. I don't want to miss anything. Taking the time, coming on the show, and being a part of this whole Women Month of May. It's been a great run, and I believe we still have 2 more guests, and I'm going to get confirmation as we get off, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in and viewing. Again, I want to thank you, Nancy, for taking the time, and remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap here in Fresno, California. Thumbs up for Richard.
Goodbye, but until next week.
Remember,
It's always voiceography at its finest.
I'm Bob Arum, and I'm with the Fighter's Voice. My name is Andre Ward.
Knocking out the competition.
Fighter's Voice!
The Fighter's